friends, welcome back to my channel. I have ears on today, so you know what that means. We're doing another Disney video. And this one I'm going to be doing what it was like to be pregnant at Disney World with a 7-month-old. I was 20 weeks pregnant when we were in Disney. I'm obviously further along now. So when we were planning out our Disney trip, I was trying to watch videos about, you know, the experience of being pregnant and having an infant in Disney, and I felt like I found one or the other, but not pregnant with an infant. So I figured I'd just share my experience personally. And then that way, if there's somebody else out there in my same situation, they might go into it a little bit more comfortable. So we'll just get started. First, I just want to talk about general overview of Magic Kingdom specifically as a 20-week pregnant person with a 7-month-old infant. So first, I'm just going to go through, because I know otherwise I'll forget, the different rides that are available for or recommended during pregnancy. Considered suitable is what they call it. However, I will say you clearly want to check with your doctor, because every pregnancy is different, so you may have different types of restrictions that your doctor recommends. So this is just what is listed online as suitable during pregnancy. Okay, so the first one, which I was unable to take advantage of, was the Walt Disney World Railroad. So the Walt Disney World Railroad is just this adorable little train that goes around the parks, and you can pop off in different lands. Unfortunately, that is under renovation and has been under renovation for quite some time. So when we went, we were unable to partake in it. Okay, the next one is the Swiss Family Treehouse. I personally didn't go on this one during our trip. A couple things with this one is that it's an attraction that's like a walking attraction, and there are some stairs. So just depending on your comfort level, we were there like in the middle of August, so it was pretty hot. So I just wasn't really looking to climb a bunch of stairs and do a bunch of additional walking on top of the amount of walking we're already doing. So that's that. Next one was Magic Carpets of Aladdin. Also didn't partake in this one. I feel like if Oliver was a little bit older, I probably would have done this one, because he probably would have been like, you know, mesmerized by all the, you know, flying up in the air and stuff. Right now for him, it's more like he likes to see things. So we did other rides that were more like sensory type items. Enchanted Tiki Room, I wanted to do this one, but we just didn't end up being able to squeeze it in, because I felt like he would really enjoy all of the, you know, dancing and singing birds and stuff like that. So that one is considered suitable. Jungle Cruise, that one we did partake in, so you'll see that in this video. Pirates of the Caribbean is another one. Again, we did partake in this one, and it was actually Oliver's first Disney ride. Tom Sawyer's Island, we did not partake in that one. That one's another one that is just like a walking attraction. So, and there's not like a line or anything. So that's kind of cool, I think, if you have like older kids that like to explore. Country Bear Jamboree, that's another show that we were trying to do, but we just couldn't squeeze it in. If you need like a break for air conditioning and things like that, that's a great option. We just didn't have time. Hall of Presidents, that one is another attraction where it's like AC. It's a good breaking type attraction, so we just didn't get a chance to do it. Liberty Square Riverboat, this one's really cool because you can actually get on the big like steam riverboat, and it's got like a big loud whistle. And again, if you had like older kids, I think this would be a fun way to, if you're like waiting on Haunted Mansion for a Lightning Lane or something, that would be a great one to do. Haunted Mansion, we did do this one, so you'll see that in this video. It's a Small World, another one we did, and you'll see it in this video. Peter Pan's Flight, again, we did it, and you'll see it in this video. Mickey's PhilharMagic 3D movie, so this is like a movie situation. We didn't partake in it, but it's another great option if you're looking for AC and to sit down. Enchanted Tales with Belle, that's another show type situation, and we didn't do that one. Under the Sea Journey of Little Mermaid, this one is a great one for babies. We didn't get a chance to go on it, but it would be an awesome option if you're pregnant and you have an infant with you. And it also has a pretty short wait most of the time, and the queue is pretty quick and pretty shaded. And then also the ride itself is really nice AC, and you get to sit down the whole time. The Prince Charming Regal Carousel, we didn't partake in this one because, again, I think Oliver would have needed to be a little bit older to really enjoy that. Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. We did take advantage of that one, and that one was a fun one for Oliver, and you'll see it in this video. Dumbo the Flying Elephant, similar to Magic Carpets of Aladdin. That one I feel like when he's a little bit older and the whole like sensation of going up and down in Dumbo will be cool. I will mention that's a great one if you have smaller kids with you, because there's actually like a play area in the queue. So if while you're waiting for Dumbo, your kids can play around in the little play area. So that's a really great option. Astro Orbiter, same situation. It's one of those kind of like flying up and down ones. We didn't do that one. The People Mover, we really wanted to do this one, but we just couldn't sneak it in. This one's a fun one because it's just like a little, I don't know how to explain it, almost like a little tram that's on a track, and it just goes around and it takes you through little models. You go through Space Mountain and stuff like that. It's kind of cool. Walt Disney's Carousel of Progress. That's another one we didn't do, but when we went to Disney in 2019, that's a good one if you just want to take like a 15-minute nap. It's a really cool like show, and it takes you basically through the decades almost, and it's just a nice chill one. If you have a baby and you need a break from the heat, that's a good option, but we didn't do that one. Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin, suitable during pregnancy. I don't know if there's a height limit on that one, but personally, with the amount of like spinning and jerking that one does, I probably wouldn't have taken Oliver unless I like wore him, but he hates to be worn. So if your baby's like Oliver, that might not work for you either. Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor, we didn't get a chance to do that one. And then of course the parades and the live entertainment and shows are all suitable during pregnancy. So the ones that Disney advises against during pregnancy are Splash Mountain, Big Thunder Mountain, Space Mountain, Barnstormer, Seven Dwarfs, and Tomorrowland Speedway. So again, this is all up to your doctor though. For me personally, I felt like Magic Kingdom was the best park for being pregnant with an infant. I felt like they had the most options when it came to rides that were suitable during pregnancy and that Oliver could get on. Whereas some of the other parks, which I'm gonna do separate videos for each of the parks, I felt like it was, if a ride was suitable during pregnancy, there was a height limit and I couldn't bring him on, or vice versa. Infants are okay, but pregnant, not recommended. So that made it a little difficult. Magic Kingdom, I felt like it was like, if it was suitable for me, it was pretty much suitable for him. Also, I felt like Magic Kingdom was the easiest one to take frequent breaks. Like, it was basically like every quarter mile I walked, if I wanted to take a break for grabbing a snack, sitting on a bench, something like that in shade, I was able to do that. Whereas the other parks, I didn't feel like that was as accessible. There was water like everywhere in Magic Kingdom. So there was like water refill stations, or if you were getting a snack, you could ask for an ice water. So we just kept like a Tervis or a Hydro Flask with us, or a Yeti, or whatever. We kept that with us, and then every time we went to a snack station, we would ask for 2 ice waters, and we would just fill up our cup with it. So that worked out perfect. So I felt like water-wise, especially during pregnancy, it's very important to hydrate, especially if you're a weirdo and you went in the middle of August like we did. I just felt like super good options for stopping for water. The other thing I like about Magic Kingdom is there's a lot of shop options, and what's cool with the shops is on Main Street you can literally like walk all the way through, basically down Main Street through the shops for the most part. So if you need like an AC break, you can avoid the crowds on Main Street and just go straight through the stores. So I really enjoyed that. I would say my #1 recommendation, and this applies to all the parks when it comes to being pregnant and having an infant in Disney, is just prepare yourself for a different experience. And different doesn't mean bad. We used to be the type of park goers that would literally open the park and then close the park. We were the type that we would pop from land to land to land to land just to accommodate at the time what was our Fast Pass Pluses. We would just hop all over the place. If we wanted to park hop, we would just jump on transportation like a bus and then get over to another park without even thinking about it. We were crazy. Like, we just like run all over the place. We just snacked. We barely stopped for food. We barely went back to the hotel to rest. That's how we were. So if you're watching this video and that's how you used to be, I will tell you right now that although we enjoyed the way we used to do it, I almost enjoyed this trip a little bit more. This time we went into it just saying, whatever we can get done, we're happy to get done. Anything else is just gonna be icing on the cake. And it was the perfect expectation to set up because literally there was no way to fail. So if you go in there thinking, well, I've spent all of this money and I wanna get 50 things done, you're gonna be stressed trying to accommodate it all, and then you're gonna be disappointed after. And with the amount of money you spend to go to Disney, it's a disappointment on your vacation. So you don't wanna do that. So for us personally, we just like played it by ear. We went by more of a strategic route where if we were gonna go somewhere for something we wanted, for example, we wanted to go to, I don't know, we'll say like Pirates of the Caribbean, we tried to get snacks that were like from wherever we were, we would stop at a snack place that was midpoint over to Pirates of the Caribbean. So we paid more attention to the map, whereas we used to just kind of like hop all over the place. Now this time, having the stroller and me being pregnant and everything, I just wanted to kind of go at it at a more leisurely pace and more intentional with how we map out our trip. So I just wanted to mention that. But honestly, Disney can be it can be done at so many different speeds and different paces and still be the best trip. But honestly, it's a mental thing with yourself on how you set up expectations for yourself. Because if you're setting yourself up for this trip where you accomplish absolutely everything, you're gonna let yourself down. Because there are people that we watch on YouTube that live in Florida, 10, 20 minutes from Disney World. They go there 3, 4, 5 times a week, and they still are experiencing new things at Disney World. So if you're going in thinking you're gonna accomplish everything, you're just setting yourself up for failure. So instead, just go in with a list of like 5 things that are top priority for you and your family. Maybe if you have, a family of 5, each of you pick one thing that is like your top priority, and anything else you can get done is icing on the cake. Okay, so now that I've just given you my general overview, I wanted to kind of walk you through how our days went at Magic Kingdom. So what we ended up doing was we did 2 days at Magic Kingdom. The first day at Magic Kingdom, we did not do Genie Plus. So I'm gonna just walk you through day 1 when we went to Magic Kingdom, and then we'll go through day 2. Day 2, I wanna say, so day 1 was literally our first park day at Disney World. So we arrived on a Wednesday at around 6 or 7 p.m., checked into our hotel, rested at the hotel and everything. And then on Thursday, Magic Kingdom was our first park on this trip. So day 1 at Magic Kingdom, park opened at 7:30. We hopped on the monorail and we got right over to the park around 7:30. The park opened at 7:30 for deluxe resort guests. So since we were staying at the Grand Floridian, we were able to get there at 7:30. As I mentioned in the last video, it was nice being a monorail hotel because we were able to do our bag check and security at the monorail platform at Grand Floridian. So when we got to the park, we were able to just walk right in without having to go through bag check and security. We just had to stop at the thing and scan our Magic Band. So our very first stop when we got in the parks, which is not going to be normal for most people, is we went to guest relations. The reason we went to guest relations is because, also, if you hear Oliver crying in the background, John is with him. He's just fighting his nap, but I'm not ignoring my child, okay? The reason we had to go to guest relations is because we got the Memory Maker, I think is what it's called. But originally we were only doing 1 day at Disney World because we were supposed to be flying to Hawaii to visit family and go to my best friend's wedding. But then because of the pregnancy, I got put on no fly from a doctor. So we had to take our 1 day Memory Maker and turn it into 5-day Memory Maker. So our first stop was actually guest relations. And then we also wanted to stop and get some of those I'm celebrating buttons for some pictures that we were gonna take to announce that the twins were boys. So we went to guest relations. We got, I think her name was either Clara or Claire. She was the sweet, sweet cast member who helped us with the transferring of the Magic Maker, Memory Maker to 5-day from 1 day. She was so sweet that she was excited about our trip, and the reason why we're taking photos, that she pixie dusted us, which we have been to Disney several times and we've never been pixie dusted, as far as I can remember. So for her to upgrade our $70 memory maker to a $199 memory maker, absolutely free as a pixie dust for us, was a magical moment for us. That was very sweet. Then she loved us so much that she ended up giving us basically like a lightning lane that could be used any time of the day for Haunted Mansion. So she asked me what my favorite ride was, and I said Haunted Mansion, because my usual favorite ride is Splash Mountain, but I can't ride that right now. So she blessed us with a lightning lane to walk on Haunted Mansion at all, which was amazing because on day one, we had decided we were just gonna kind of get a lay of the land and we weren't gonna use Genie Plus yet. So that was step one. Then we stopped and we took pictures at the castle. So at this point, it was probably around like 7:45, 7:50. So the park wasn't completely full yet. And what happens is a lot of people stop at the first castle picture for the PhotoPass photographer. We didn't do that. We went all the way down as close to the castle as possible. And we were able to get a really nice shot at the furthest point. Then what we did was we walked off to the side almost towards Tomorrowland and we got a picture off of the side of the castle. And then that ended up being my favorite because that guy, there was no line, so he was able to kind of take more time with us, and then those pictures came out really awesome and it was like a different angle. So that's what we did there. Next up, what we did is we went over to Sleepy Hollow, which is on the way to Frontierland. I think it's in like Liberty Square. John really wanted to try these waffles that we kept seeing, and they were waffles with Nutella, strawberry, banana, and blueberry. He asked for it with no blueberry because he doesn't like blueberry. I got to try a bite and they were delicious. We kind of just shared that. Then we decided that our very first ride was going to be Pirates of the Caribbean. There was only like a 15-minute wait at that point because again, we were doing this day without Genie Plus. When we go to the next day, I'll explain what Genie Plus is in case you have no idea what I'm talking about. So went to Pirates, did Pirates, was Ollie's first ride. So this one is one that's safe for infants and suitable during pregnancy as long as your doctor's okay with it. The thing is that there is like a little bit of a drop, so just be prepared for that, but it's nothing like dangerous or out of control. Oliver was adorable because he like kind of threw his hands back like, whoa, what's happening? But it's a nice like cool dark ride. It's not too loud, so Oliver didn't get scared during it or anything like that. Next up, what we did was we went over to Westward Ho, which is again in Frontierland, and we got a bear claw because I had seen that online somewhere, so I wanted to try that. It was good. It was just kind of basic. I didn't tell you, the waffles were like super good. Also, the cool thing about Sleepy Hollow with those waffles is it's on the back, like back left of the castle. So when we were sitting at Sleepy Hollow, we had like a perfect view of the castle. It was really nice. Anyways, Westward Ho, the bear claw was really good. We just kind of ate that while we were walking. It was just like basic bear claw that you can get from any bakery. Next up, what we did was we used our lightning lane for Haunted Mansion. So we jumped right on Haunted Mansion. We were super nervous about taking Oliver on this because it's super dark and there are some like kind of creepy moments, but he was like chill with it. He was fine. So we did that. Then we popped into Fantasyland and did It's a Small World. Oliver really liked that one because there's a lot of music and a lot of like dancing little figures and stuff like that, so he really enjoyed it. Then we popped back over to Sleepy Hollow because that's kind of in between Fantasyland and Liberty Square. It's like right after the bridge coming out of Fantasyland. And we got John some, I think it's spicy chicken and waffles. Then we went over to Columbia House, which is pretty much like diagonal from Sleepy Hollow, so it's not too far. And we got me a lobster roll and hush puppies. And we sat inside Columbia, I think it's called Columbia Harbor House, and we ate our lunch. So John ate his chicken and waffles and I ate my lobster roll. John's spicy chicken and waffles, he said, was phenomenal. Me, I had the lobster roll, which I'm originally from Massachusetts, so like I love lobster rolls, but I'm also pretty picky about them. As far as a non-New England lobster roll, it was pretty good. The only thing is that I think they add like relish to their lobster roll, which was a little weird to me, so it was just an unexpected situation, but the roll was really good, and then the hush puppies were super good, so that was a really good side to have with that. Then we popped over to Tomorrowland because John really wanted the cream cheese filled pretzel, which, you know, I was happy to help him out in that situation, because the cream cheese filled pretzels at Disney World are like the world's best. Disneyland also has them, but they're just like, we cannot go to Disney without that. That's like a bucket list item for us every time we go. So that's what happened there. So that was day one. We had Olga's Cantina reservations that evening, so we decided we would leave Magic Kingdom at that point. I want to say at that point it was probably about 11 a.m. And we went back to our hotel to shower, feed Oliver, change Oliver, let him grab a nap for a few hours before we popped over to, we ended up having to go to Epcot and then Hollywood Studios. So you'll see those park visits in another video. So anyways, so that was day one at Magic Kingdom. Those are all the things we accomplished. And what was really nice about it, like I said, is we just took it at our own pace. We didn't overdo it. We just kind of stuck with a geographical, you know, system, and it went really well. Okay, so day two, Magic Kingdom. It was another day where it was a 7:30 a.m. start for deluxe resort guests. So we were able to get there at 7:30. On this particular day, they were closing at 6 p.m. because they were having the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party. So we knew that we would have an early night, basically. So what we did was, this day we did opt in for Genie Plus. Genie Plus is basically a system that replaced Fast Pass Plus, which if you went prior to the shutdown of March 2020, you'll remember Fast Pass Plus was basically a system you would log in, and it was like 30 to 60 days in advance you would have to like reserve your rides, and you could reserve, I want to say 3 per park per day or something like that. With Genie Plus, it's a paid service. So Fast Pass Plus was free. Genie Plus is a paid service, and it's $15 per guest per day. So we didn't want to just like willy-nilly just buy Genie Plus just cause. We wanted to make sure we were actually going to use it. Of all of the parks, I think Magic Kingdom is the most worthwhile to have Genie Plus. The way Genie Plus works, and I'm just going to give you a brief rundown, but if you want like an actual in-depth Genie Plus breakdown, I would recommend going to either like the All Ears channel, Mammoth Club channel, or Disney Food Blog channel on YouTube, because they have like really good breakdowns on how to best utilize Genie Plus. But basically Genie Plus, you can go on at 7 a.m., purchase Genie Plus, or actually I think for Genie Plus you can go on anywhere from midnight on and purchase it for that day. So you can't purchase it like months in advance or anything. You have to purchase it day of, as of right now. But Genie Plus changes all the time. Anyways, you log on, buy yourself Genie Plus. At 7 a.m., you're able to book what are called lightning lanes. So at Magic Kingdom, some of the more popular rides, such as Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, Space Mountain, Peter Pan, right now Jungle Cruise is like crazy busy, Haunted Mansion every once in a while. Those ones are popular rides that everybody wants to do. So for the lightning lane selections, under Genie Plus, you'll go on and you can book yourself a lightning lane where you can essentially do almost a walk-on onto these very, you know, popular rides. Now, with lightning lane, you still sometimes will have a little bit of wait, depending on how many people are coming back for their lightning lane the same time as you. In Magic Kingdom, the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train is not included in the Genie Plus lightning lanes. It's a separate individual purchase, which usually costs, I think, around $14. So for me personally, what we did was at 7 a.m., I went on the app and I scheduled Peter Pan's flight for our first lightning lane for Genie Plus, because basically for us, we were picking between either Peter Pan or Jungle Cruise. If I were you and you have older kids or no kids, I would probably get on there and I would book like Space Mountain or Peter Pan if you're into Peter Pan, or Jungle Cruise. Those are probably the top 3 that you want to get as quickly as possible. So at 7 a.m. you can go on and book that. At 7:01 or even at 7, whichever you want to do first, you could go on and purchase Mine Train. And then that way you can have your lightning lane for Genie Plus, plus you could have a lightning lane individual purchase of Mine Train. we weren't going on Mine Train because I can't ride it pregnant, and then Oliver couldn't ride it because there's a height requirement. So that was a moot point for us. So we went on and scheduled Peter Pan immediately. Now, I will say that if you're planning to do Jungle Cruise, it may be a good idea to get on there and immediately book Jungle Cruise, because Jungle Cruise, as the day gets later, it's going to be hotter. And it's an outdoor raft type situation, whereas Peter Pan, Pirates of the Caribbean, Haunted Mansion, those are all in air conditioning. So if you get a lighter lightning lane on those, it's no big deal. But for us personally, we wanted to schedule Peter Pan because Jungle Cruise had like an early start, but Peter Pan had an even earlier one. So we're like, okay, let's schedule Peter Pan. So we scheduled Peter Pan. And then since Peter Pan was coming up pretty quickly, we decided to jump on the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh because it was like kind of in the area. So we did Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. Then we jumped on Peter Pan with our lightning lane that we had selected. As soon as we checked in with our magic band on Peter Pan, I was able to book another lightning lane. And for that one, we did a Splash Mountain one for John. So jumped on Peter Pan, and it actually said that it was a 45-minute standby wait, but then everybody was just like walking on. Lightning lane and standby all were a walk on. So just keep an eye on that, because sometimes it'll say it's a long wait on the app and then you'll get there and it's a lie. After we got off Peter Pan, we got ourselves a cinnamon roll, and I want to say it was from Gaston's Tavern. And I think we also got like this ham and cheese type situation there, and both were really, really good. At that point, I lied to you guys. We did not schedule a lightning lane for Splash Mountain. At that point, I scheduled my Jungle Cruise lightning lane. Then we walked over to Splash Mountain because it was only like a 10 or 15 minute wait. And then John did Splash Mountain in my honor, since I couldn't do Splash Mountain, but I really wanted him to do it because that's my favorite ride. So I wanted one of Team Costco to experience it. So he jumped on Splash Mountain. Oliver was napping, so it was pretty much perfect because I could just sit on the side by Big Thunder. And I was just kind of like people watching, sitting in the shade, leaning up against a fence and just chilling with Oliver. Then Oliver woke up. John was still on Splash Mountain at that point, and so I fed Oliver. And so it ended up working out perfect because at that point our Jungle Cruise time was approaching. So we went from Frontierland over into Adventureland. Now the one thing to mention is for the 7:30 a.m. start at the parks, only Fantasyland and Tomorrowland were open. So we couldn't have even gone to Frontierland and Adventureland if we wanted to. So at that point, left Splash Mountain, went over to Adventureland, and we did Jungle Cruise. Then we went to Pecos Bills, and we got walking tacos, and they're served in like a Fritos bag. If you guys go to Disney and you don't get these walking tacos, I'm gonna be mad at you, because they're only like $10.99, and they were enough food for John and I both. Like, they were just the perfect treat. So we got those walking tacos. Then we went to Sun Tree Terrace, and we got the I Lava You float. Then what we did was we popped over to the Baby Care Center, and I'm gonna insert some clips about the Baby Care Center. So if you're going with an infant, or if you're pregnant, or I don't know, I don't think they'd even care if anybody walked in there. But they have this thing called a Baby Care Center. Basically, when you walk in, there's like a little seating area where if you have some older kids, they can sit in the AC and watch some television. They have a couple bathrooms, male and female. They have a nursing area, and then they have a changing area. And in the changing area, it has, you know, a bunch of changing tables. There's like 4 or 5 changing tables. And then you could just like change the baby up, whatever. Then they also have like kind of almost like a little store that you can purchase things that you might need. And they even had so much as like stroller organizers. They had, you know, swimming diapers, regular diapers, diaper creams. Just everything you could think of that you might need for the baby. The only thing I wish they had was baby shampoo or baby wash, because we looked everywhere in the parks and we couldn't find that. So I thought the Baby Care Center would have it, but they didn't. But anyways, it was really nice to be able to pop in there, change Oliver, and like get an AC break. It was really nice. And there was barely anyone in there, so that was cool. Then what we did was we got pictures at the pumpkins at the front entrance of the park. right next to like the train station, looking out onto the castle. We stopped and got some pictures at the pumpkins. And then what we did was we headed back to the hotel. So my number one recommendation, if you're pregnant or if you're with an infant, is to go early, take a midday break, and then come back in the afternoon. And the reason why is because it gets the hottest and busiest, in my opinion, between like 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. or even maybe 3 p.m. So for us personally, that worked out. Some people are gonna tell you to sleep in the morning and go to the parks at 10 a.m. But I felt like everybody was doing that, because like around 10 or 11, when we were like leaving to go back to the hotel, there was like crowds coming in like crazy. So for us, that just personally didn't make sense. So we went back to the hotel, and while we're on our way back to the hotel, I went on and I scheduled a lightning lane to meet Mickey and Minnie at Town Square. Thank God I did that, because after going back to the hotel, we popped back into the park. Mickey and Minnie went up to a 110-minute wait. And that was like a big thing for us. We really wanted Oliver to meet Mickey and Minnie. So after we came back in the parks, we still had like an hour or two until the Mickey and Minnie thing happened. So we stopped and we took pictures at the entrance of the park. At that point, what's cool with Genie Plus and lightning lanes is if 2 hours has passed since you last scheduled a lightning lane, you'll be able to schedule a new one. So since I scheduled Mickey and Minnie when we were leaving the park, 2 hours had passed, I was able to tack on another Pirates lightning lane for a little while before. So we were able to go get some pictures at the entrance of the park, where like the train station is on the front side, like after you come in through bag check and all that. There's like a little spot where it had like 50th celebration and all that. So we took some pictures right at the park entrance. Because the thing is with pictures is you want to try and get them earlier in the day, or like after you've taken a break and refreshed yourself, because you don't want to be a sweaty hot mess in your photos, you know what I mean? So we would try and do it after breaks and stuff, or when we first got there. So we took those pictures at the entrance. Then we popped over to Adventureland and we got some cheeseburger spring rolls. So they had a 50th spring roll, which was like a pastrami spring roll, and then cheeseburger spring rolls. Everybody's like obsessed with these cheeseburger spring rolls. They were good, but I just don't feel like they were anything to write home about. It kind of just tasted like a Big Mac in a spring roll. I mean, it was good. It just wasn't like life-changing. Then after that, we went over to Aloha Isle and I got the Tropical Serenade, which the Tropical Serenade was Pog juice, which in case you're not from Hawaii, it's pineapple, orange, and guava. It's delicious. It had coconut Dole Whip, and it had an upside down pineapple cake pop on it. It was phenomenal. So we got that as like a little treat, and then we jumped on our Pirates for the lightning lane. Did Pirates, then headed back up to the front Town Square to do Mickey and Minnie to close out the day. So we got to meet Mickey and Minnie.
Oh, I think he's pooping your nose. He's just obsessed with pooping. Yeah. Poop. Did Mickey poop your nose? You poop his nose? Mickey knows.
He loves you.
Oh.
Oh.
What's the shirt say? Oh, your first Disney trip? Yeah, you're having so much fun exploring. Yeah.
And then it was probably around like 5 o'clock at that point, 4:30, 5 o'clock. So the crowds for Mickey's Not So Scary were starting to come in, because with Mickey's Not So Scary, it's a separate event ticket that's like almost $200, I want to say. You can come into the park at 4 p.m. even if you don't have a park pass, even though the party doesn't start till like 6 or 7. So at 4 o'clock you can enter the park. So like at 4, like literally crowds of people started coming in for the party. So that's when we decided to be like, okay, let's dip out. So anyways, I just walked you through our entire Magic Kingdom experience being pregnant, 20 weeks pregnant with a 7-month-old. I hope that gave you kind of a good idea of like what we did. I'm awful at vlogging, so that's why I ended up having to do it this route. But anyways, that's everything. Like I said, number one recommendation that I have is just to allow yourself grace and don't get mad at yourself if you can't do everything. We had a list of things that we would have liked to do, you know, like Country Bear Jamboree and the Enchanted Tiki Room, and like some of the snacks. Like there was a snack in Tomorrowland that we wanted to grab, but you know, you can't get everything done. And sometimes you just get sick of the treats and the snacks and you just like can't eat anymore. So anyways, I hope that was helpful. I hope you guys enjoyed coming along with us on our little Disney World trip to Magic Kingdom. Next, you'll be expecting one about Epcot, one about Hollywood Studios, one about Animal Kingdom. And then we also have a overall tips and haul video from the things that we purchased during the 50th celebration while we were there. Other than that, you can just expect every so often I'll be popping in some Trader Joe's hauls, maybe some recipe videos, things like that. If you enjoy my channel, if you enjoyed spending some time with me, please be sure to subscribe, tell your friends about it. I'd love more friends over here. If you have any questions about Disney World, please leave a comment down below or feel free to message me and follow me on Instagram at Kate508 is my handle. I'll put that on the screen here. And I hope you all have a magical day. Thanks for stopping by. Bye.